Welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday. We will be putting out podcasts every Friday for you guys. Also, we're at a new place to record, so it's actually quiet here. and Give us any feedback whatsoever on like the audio or things you want us to talk about. We know that the quality may not be terrific right now, but we are not using that excuse to not put out any content. So we're just gonna keep on, you know, I guess perfecting it, or not really perfecting, but just getting better weekly. We wanted to talk to you guys about mentorship. And the first question that we like to answer is, what is a mentor?
So for me, a mentor is somebody who, like I said, it's Joseph, by the way. Um, a mentor is somebody who's charged with the task of making sure that you have all of the knowledge and all of the resources and tools that you need in order to be successful in whatever endeavor you are going after, whether that be sports, whether that be business, whether that be just your overall job or career. It is their purpose, it is their job kind of to make sure that you have what you need in order to be successful in those different things. um, yeah, so another question would be.
Well, before we move on, I think one way that people can think of mentors as is like, if you think about like when you were little and you were growing up, like you kind of looked at your parents as mentors. Like you went to them for advice, you went to them for, things that you wanted to do. You kind of always just looked up to like your parents, or your guardian, whoever raised you. So that's kind of like what a mentor is, just somebody there for you to get advice from, somebody there that they're doing what you want to do, because oftentimes, like people follow their parents' footsteps. Like my little sister, she wants to be a teacher now because my mom's a teacher. So that's kind of how I think of it in
um,
terms of that way.
and what is a mentor to you? I don't think I got your opinion on it.
Um,
What I,
that was pretty much it.
that was pretty much it. Okay.
Okay, so the next question. Okay, so why are mentors needed? Why do you think they're needed?
For me, I feel like they're really needed, just because they're really underrated, honestly. Because I feel like if you look at just the natural world, right? What's supposed to happen is this person, or if you want to take animals as an example, you could take them as an example as well. They're supposed to live their life and experience certain things, and then when they have offspring, or when they just meet somebody who is younger in their journey, they're supposed to pass on their experience, their knowledge, to make that next generation better, and so that the new generation doesn't make the same mistakes as the older generation. And the problem that I see in a lot of cultures and society is that there's either not enough mentors, or there's not enough people taking mentorship, and I don't really know which one it really is. For me personally, I do have an abundance of mentors who all do different things, and I'm really appreciative of it. And honestly, I'm going to get to where they are more efficiently than they did, because you know, they were able to tell me what was their journey, their struggles, and share those pitfalls with me so that I can avoid those things. Like, I remember one of the biggest moments is when one of my mentors told me what a non recourse loan was and why he chose to use them a lot. And honestly, like, just that piece of information right there, like, literally could keep me from getting wiped out all my wealth in the next recession or even the recession after that. So that's huge, and I never would have known that if he wouldn't have told me, because a lot of times we try to look for answers, but you can only look for answers based on your already existing knowledge. So I cannot, if I'm blind and I never saw the color red, I don't even know how to ask somebody to describe the color to me, because I don't know what it is. I don't have a preconceived idea of what it is.
Like, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
so
you don't.
You can't ask based upon that.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of people think they know everything, which is part of the reason a lot of people struggle so much. You don't know everything. And I go through life purposely, like, I may know a little bit about something, but just for the case of having somebody reiterate it to me or maybe tell me something that I may not have thought of, I would literally act like I don't know anything. There's been plenty of times where...
Like Dumbo.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Who's Dumbo?
Somebody, it was like a show or something?
Dumbo is Columbo?
Oh, Columbo, yeah.
Dumbo is an elephant.
Shut up.
Okay, but yeah, like Columbo. So Columbo is this person that was on TV like a long time ago, and basically he was a brilliant man, but he always acted like clueless. And the thing about acting clueless is everybody just kind of shares information with you because they think you're clueless. So as a entrepreneur, no matter how successful you are, there is sometimes a benefit in just acting like you don't know something, even if you really do, because people will literally talk for hours and share tons of information, and they could be your competitor, and they will literally just spill their beans all over the place and tell you things that you didn't need to know or you didn't know to ask or whatever it may be. And Jasmine has seen me do this literally tons of times. Like, I don't need to act like I know everything, because I can surround myself with people who actually do know everything that I don't know. So really going back to that question of why mentors are needed, is really because they help you learn faster. They help you get to the level where you want to be quicker without all of those mistakes. So what is your take on that a little bit?
Pretty much everything you said, obviously. But I just wanted to point out that we were doing a little bit of research online, and we found that Oprah's mentor was Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Maya Angelou is, she was a poet and an author, and just phenomenal woman.
Yeah.
That was one of her poems, actually. Right?
Yeah, it was. I was just trying to think of another one that she wrote.
Yeah, she's an awesome woman, and Oprah went to her for like huge milestones throughout her life, and I guess she gave her some great advice, because Oprah has OWN now, so she's a phenomenal woman as well. And she said that she doesn't think anybody can make it in the world without a mentor. And I definitely agree, because like I really feel like you can't do everything on your own. And like, I think mentors, they also give you great ideas. So sometimes you don't even come up with the idea. So like, for example, we didn't even think of that name, Abundant Culture. We got that idea from someone else. And although they're not our mentors, but you just get nuggets from a whole bunch of different people. So I mean, that's why I think they're needed. And I mean, also Steve Jobs, he was Mark Zuckerberg's mentor, and they would basically have like business strategy sessions, and they both basically wanted to conquer the world. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure they pretty much did.
Exactly.
For the most part.
So, I mean, those examples, they just go to show why you need a mentor. If very famous, successful, wealthy people needed mentors, then you do too.
Yeah. And not only that, I think especially at the beginning, it also pays to have more than one. And a mistake I see a lot of entrepreneurs make at the beginning is they have literally one mentor and they expect that one mentor to teach them everything that they will ever need to know to be successful in their business. And that is totally not the case. Trust me, I have went through a couple in the past and I went through them very, very quickly because when I find out you're not teaching me something that I want to learn and you're actually trying to push me not to learn that, I find a very big issue with that. So one thing, we'll save that caveat for later, but just know that having a mentor, more than one mentor, it causes basically this checks and balances. So I can go to one of my mentors, John, and ask him, okay, what is your outlook on the economy right now and doing syndications? And he will probably give me a totally different answer from what my mentor Daniel will probably give me. Or maybe they might be similar, but there will still be some minute details that are different. And what that allows you to do is be critical and come up with your own identity. So I can ask all of my mentors the same question and then figure out, okay, what is the underlying theme of their answers and come up with my own formula to how to tackle whatever project that I'm going to go after next. And that is something that has been huge because honestly, there's things that I'm doing, which is a mixture of things that all of my mentors had told me, but none of them are actually doing themselves yet. And it's just because I have more than one and I can take little bits of knowledge from all of them and then kind of clump it together to fit my own style of business or negotiation or whatever it may be. So have more than one. Don't let one tell you this is it, this is the only way to do it, because I guarantee you your growth at some point will stagnate. And that is something that would have happened to me if I didn't let certain mentors go.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So the next question is, where do you find mentors, or how do you find them? Which can kind of, be clumped together into the same question.
Mm-hmm. So it's been my experience. It kind of goes back to this proverb. I think it's a Chinese proverb, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me on it. But I think it goes something like, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. So first and foremost, what I believe you should do as an entrepreneur, as a person, is just really prepare yourself to be taught. I didn't get my first mentor until I think I read, was it Rich Dad?
After Rich Dad Poor Dad.
It was after Rich Dad Poor Dad. Rich Dad Poor Dad was like the first book I read as an adult. And that got me ready to receive information about business, about real estate, about investing. Without that preparation, like I would have been basically infertile soil. And what happens when you plant a seed in infertile soil, it doesn't grow. It doesn't produce anything. And that's honestly what would have happened to me. And I feel like that happens to a lot of people. They ask for a mentor, but it's like, are you really coachable? Are you ready to be open-minded? Are you gonna put all your complaints and your excuses to the side and literally take their advice and listen to what they have to say to you so that you can go to the next level? If you aren't willing to do all of those things, then you might not be ready. So, I mean, what I would say...
And to piggyback off of that, I think that you also need to be willing to give before you receive as well. That's huge.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother, like, I kid you not. I can't tell you how many people, and keep in mind, I'm new. I'm still kind of struggling myself. I'm just getting my legs under me. And there's been people, and I've only been an entrepreneur for less than 2 years right now.
Yeah.
There has been at least 3 to 4 individuals who have came to me and asked me to mentor them and do it for free. And
For free, like financially, and just like basically asking for your time without giving you any type of value.
yeah, and see, that's another thing because sometimes free doesn't always mean money. Because my mentors teach that there's like 4 different types of currencies. There's time, relationships, money, and knowledge. Those are kind of like our 4 currencies. So when I sit down with somebody, or I'm trying to get somebody to be a mentor of mine, I'm trying to figure out how can I get them more time. Do they need a relationship that I can offer them? I mean, if I have money, obviously I could just pay them. Cash is cash is not king, but
But
everybody
it's the
says cash is.
easiest.
Yeah, it's the most simple. So give them that, or what was the other one? Time or knowledge. Or is there a piece of knowledge that I have that I can offer them? And man, it's so powerful because one of my mentors got his mentor by using knowledge. He didn't really pay him, but my mentor, Daniel, had a decent YouTube following and it was really growing rapidly. And it was funny because the guy who he was trying to start his YouTube too, and he was way ahead of him in regards to like just business and real estate, but he was behind him in regards to like social media and YouTube. So the guy, I guess, he reached out to him and he asked him to kind of mentor him in YouTube and social media. So it's kind of funny how this guy who is further along than him in certain aspects of business asked for his mentorship in one area, and then Daniel was able to get mentored in many, many different areas. So sometimes you can mentor your mentor in different areas. But here's the thing.
It's kind of like that exchange of expertise.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like it has to be some exchange of value. People like get on like Gary V's, Instagram and DM him and comment and always ask him, "Hey, I want your help. I want your help. I want your help. I want your help. I want your help." They're always asking, but they're never offering something of value in return that he actually needs. And he talks about that. He's like, "Look, if you want my attention, find out a hole in my business and then fill it, prove that you can fill it, and I'll give you all the time that you probably need." And people don't necessarily do that. They just ask for things and they ask for them for free, like your time is invaluable. Listen, if you're blessed, you have 100 years on this planet. If you're really, really blessed. But that's the average lifespan is anywhere between 70 and 80. My thing is, if I only have this amount of time to work with, why would I waste it? Especially as somebody who's building businesses. If you're building businesses, usually your time is way more valuable just because you can make more money in the same amount of time as somebody else. Like, you have to value your time. I don't even care where you are at in the game. So offer something of value, and they will literally help you out any way that they can. And yeah. And how to find them. Also, there's networking events. Really, those are really, really key. I mean, usually your next mentor is at some type of networking event because it's not what you know, it's really who you know.
Yes. So you can find them on the apps. Like there's an app called Meetup.
Meetup.
If you haven't been on there, you can go to Eventbrite. That's also an app. Those are like the main 2 that I use right now.
Yeah.
But then you should also network at, like just random places, because there are a lot of free events and you could definitely find mentors there. But if you pay for the access to go to maybe a little bit more expensive networking event, or just an event that you can like network at, maybe like a high net worth party or um, going to like the golf club or something. Like you can find mentors literally anywhere, and you can ask other people for recommendations.
And honestly, the better student you are, the easier it is to attract mentors. Because honestly, I can say that all the mentors I have now, I kind of attracted. It was like, hey, can I give you this? And in return, can you give me that? And it's like, it always works out. Like, I have yet to be turned down by a mentor. So really, it's going to the places where they are at and saying, doing, and being the right person to get them to say, hey, I want to be part of this guy's story because you are a main character in your story, and people want to be supporting characters because they know one day you're going to be up at maybe an award banquet or on TV, and they want to hear you say, I appreciate everything that so and so did for me. I would not be here without them. Most people who are mentors or worth being mentors, they are really legacy minded. So they really want to see you succeed. Like my mentors won't even waste their time if they feel like you're not going to be successful. Like that is their biggest thing. They think about, are you willing to do what it takes? If the answer is yes, they will mentor you. If the answer is no, they're not going to waste their time with you. Because like I said, it is very valuable to them.
So we have two final questions that we wanted to answer, and I actually only have one of them written down. So Joe's like looking at the paper, like, "What's the other one?"
Yeah.
But I mean, they pretty much go hand in hand. So like, what makes a great mentee, and then what makes a great mentor?
Which one you want me to answer? First.
Go ahead and answer. What makes a great mentee?
So I touched on it a little bit. What makes a great mentee is just being coachable. Also, not being cocky. Let that sink in for a second.
Just means be humble.
Be humble. Like so many people. I had remember we were talking with Sylvan, and he said this guy walked in. And the guy only made like $40,000 a year. And depending on where you're from, that may or may not be a lot of money to you. But where we're from, like in the groups that we run in, that is not a lot. However, this guy made $40,000 a year approximately. And he was like literally just bragging like, oh yeah, I run my own business. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Had on a nice suit, really full of himself. And I'm not saying you can't look nice and be proud of yourself, but he was like talking down to Sylvan. He literally told him like, oh, when you get like me or when you get to where I'm at or my level, blah, blah, blah. And it was hilarious because Sylvan's a really quiet, humble, laid back guy. And then after the conversation was over, I guess he didn't say much, but after the conversation was over, Sylvan unlocks his car, and the guy is like, dude, what do you do for a living? And he was like, oh, yeah, I have, I think it's an assisted living company, and we do over $1 million in revenue. We're projected to do over $1 million in revenue this year. And the reason the guy said that is because Sylvan was driving a Porsche, and this guy was driving like kind of a hoopty. And literally all he had to do was say, hey, what are you up to? How can I be of value? Things of that nature instead of bragging about who you are and what you got, because you never know what somebody else may be able to offer you. I can tell you, like, all of the mentors that I have, they don't look like they're successful. Like, they wear jeans, a polo on a good day, actually. And then one of them probably wears sandals all the time.
Flip-flops.
Yeah, flip-flops. Like, they don't always look like they're multimillionaires or even, close to being a billionaire or whatever it may be.
So what qualities do you see in mentors then?
Oh, the qualities that I see in mentors they're just really genuine people. Like, they're usually people. Like if we look at John, Daniel,
I mean, some people
Columbo.
are introverted though. Like, one of our we look up to him, but we've actually haven't got the chance to meet him in person yet. But like his name is Jay Massey, and he says all the time that he's an introvert, but he's a great speaker, great teacher. Like we learned so much from him just because we paid for some of his classes and we watched them and they were awesome.
Yeah, and but I think even with that though, like if you're an introvert, that means that you're probably not the best at like communicating with people literally all freaking day. But even with some of the introverted people that I've seen, even like Russell Brunson, like they still care about people. So I think really what it boils down to is, do they care about people? If they care about people, they can really have what it takes to be a good mentor. Also, the most important thing for me is that they're open-minded. If my mentor is not continually growing, I mean literally 365 days out of the year like I am, he can't be my mentor. I'm sorry, but I had two, and I'm not going to say who they are, but I've had two mentors who were just stuck in their ways. They're stagnant. And when I was trying to elevate, they were trying to literally tell me that what I was thinking about was dumb, it's stupid, I should focus on what I'm doing. And usually, sad to say, but those are the mentors a lot of times that you have that make money when you make money. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with a mentor making money when you make money, but
if that's the top priority,
if
then
that's the top priority,
you may not want them as someone that you look up to all the time.
yeah, because see what happens is they're like, okay, if he keeps doing what he's doing or gets better at what he's doing for me, I'm gonna be able to retire off of this kid. There's nothing really wrong with that. But the problem is when that happens is when you want to explore other avenues and when you want to learn things outside of what's actually going to make them money, then it could be a problem. And that's why I like a lot of the mentors that I have now, because do I make them money? Yeah, when we do deals together. But can I go explore another business venture? Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, they'll even go that extra step and look and see if they have somebody in their contacts and their phone that has some experience in where you want to go, and then hook you up with another mentor. So really watch out how they're compensated. I'm not saying that you can't pay mentors, because I like paying people. That's just how I am. I
I
like.
mean, it's really the easiest currency to give sometimes.
Yeah, but you got to make sure that they're open minded and that they literally want to see you grow. Seeing you grow has to be one of their top priorities. And if that is their priority, then you're good. So make sure they're open minded. And if they're not open minded, if they're stagnant, you're on. The problem with them being stagnant is you're only ever gonna reach the level that they reach.
Yeah.
My first mentor made 6 figures, which isn't bad, especially coming from where I came from. But he was trying to get me to make 6 figures. He wasn't trying to get me to make 7 or 8 or 9. You know, and that's a problem. You know, my mentor, another characteristic that they have to have is that they literally have to want me to surpass them one day.
Yes.
Like I can literally say everybody that I call my mentor now, they cannot wait for the day where we're going after the same deal and I win the negotiation.
So, I mean, just to sum that up in one word, that's called being selfless.
Yeah, they're selfless. You know, if your mentor is really selfish, and it's been times where I was partnering with one of my mentors on this deal, and I was like, oh, we can even do this, and he was like, cool, your jets. That's you got to pay them too, and I was like, Yeah, you're right. So if your mentor checks you on your selfishness, that's a good mentor as well.
Yes. So, yeah, that pretty much just wraps up our podcast. So, as we were recording this, I was thinking about, some more ways that we could give value to not only our audience, but to our friends and our mentors as well. So, with that being said, I would like to give a shout out to some of the people that have been helping us get like our podcast up and running and giving us tips and tricks and things that we could do to, expand further than our reach, especially right now. So, Daniel Kwok is one of them, and he is a part of the Kwok brothers. So they have a podcast, but
And Quack's being spelled Kwak.
yes, and they have a YouTube channel, and they really dig deep into real estate investing. So if that's something you're interested in, then I suggest you go check them out. And then also, one of our friends who we just actually done a deal with, John Casman, he also has an extremely great podcast called Target Market Insights.
Yep.
And
Super in depth.
yes. And his podcast, they really dig deep into the local markets all over. So if you're into real estate and you don't know where you want to invest, then that's the podcast for you. And last but not least is Mike Taravella. He is actually one of our newer friends, and we just had a meeting with him in Target. Yesterday, right? Or 2 days ago?
Yeah.
And he gave us so many great tips. And I mean, this guy is just very, very, what's the word I'm looking for?
He's one of those people that want to collaborate with not anybody, but anybody he feels is going to be synergistic with him.
Yeah.
So
like collaboration over competition.
Yeah.
So he just launched his podcast, which is called Next Level Investing, and it's also about real estate investing. So he literally just launched, I believe, his first episode, and that was more so of an introductory episode, but the guy, I mean, he makes great connections, and I know he has done a couple of interviews already for his podcast, so I advise you to go check that out. So all of them, go check out all three of those names, their YouTubes, their podcasts. They have so much insight waiting for you. So,
Yep.
And finally, we always want to leave you guys with a reflective question on our podcast, just something for you to think about and answer for yourselves. And that question is, what things are you willing to give your mentor in exchange for their time or knowledge? So, thanks for listening, and catch us next time.
Later.
Okay.
Did we go too long?